right, we start with politics. The ANC's National Executive Committee has unanimously agreed to deploy NEC member Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa to the party's Secretary-General's office. The office is empty because the Secretary-General, Magashule, is suspended and his deputy, Jessie Duarte, is on sick leave. Treasurer-General Mashatile says Ramokgopa will coordinate preparations for the ANC's upcoming 54th National Elective Conference in December. He was briefing the media after the NEC met at the weekend.
The NEC supported the deployment of Comrade Gwen Ramokgopa, a member of the NEC and NWC, as a coordinator in the Office of the Secretary General to reinforce the Treasurer General as he assists the DSG in conducting the work of the Secretary General.
All right, we don't have the sound there. We apologize for that. Some discussion around the presence of Patricia Lamini from the ANC Women's League. There you saw her pictured. And let's discuss. We're joined by the ANC Spokesperson, Pule Mabe. Mr. Mabe, thank you for being with us. Firstly, let's start with the new deployment to the Secretary-General's office. When it was first reported that Dr. Ramokgopa could be deployed, there were some reported claims of factionalism, that one faction in the ANC believed this was the Ramaphosa faction consolidating power. Just tell us, how much widespread support do you think she enjoys across the party?
Well, afternoon to your viewers. I think issues that relate to asking members of the National Executive Committee to perform or execute certain responsibilities within the overall programs that the ANC must undertake has got nothing to do with whether they enjoy or do not enjoy support of NEC members. Members of the National Executive Committee are elected by conference, branches of the ANC, to be able to discharge, execute, and implement resolutions of conference. They are not elected to pass motion of no confidence or confidence against each other. We just need to clarify that point. The reason why Comrade Gwen would have been brought into that office and the Treasurer General had clarified that, because a vacuum would have arisen out of the absence of the DSG, who has since been of ill health. We continue to wish her well and hope that she will bounce back much stronger. That the TG would not be able to perform the work associated with his office, that of being a Treasurer General, raising money, ensuring that the financial health of the organization is in order, and at the same time be able to make sure that he could still give his fuller attention to the work of the Secretary General's office. The Treasurer General, elected as a national official, will still be responsible in the intervening period to sign off credentials, preside and oversee the overall work of the Secretary General's office. Comrade Gwen Ramokgopa, a member of the NEC and NWC, would then be able to then do that kind of reinforcement. There are various other subcommittees of the NEC that the DSG would have had. In such, one of those is the Dispute Resolution Committee, is the Deployment Committee, for instance, visiting provinces and regions to understand the organizational and political work that they are doing. It will be difficult for the TG to do all of this, especially in the year that he must also raise and mobilize much needed resources for the 55th National Conference. Now, when extra hands come in, already you have got members of the National Executive Committee based at head office assisting with that work. What you now do is you strengthen the work of the Political Management Committee, which has got to now operationalize decisions of the NWC and the NEC on a day-to-day basis based at head office. So, Comrade Gwen,
all right, Mr. Mabe,
structure to provide that reinforcement.
Thank you for clarifying her role. Let's talk about another woman that has been in the news who was at the NEC, and there are reports that Patricia Lamini's attendance at the National Executive Committee meeting was described as anti-renewal by some ANC members. Of course, she's been found guilty of perjury. Will the party respond?
Well, of course, the party has responded. In the statement today, we did indicate that what the NEC has done was to then allow national officials to process this. The ANC is an organization of process. So when the ANC acts to implement its own decisions, even if it does so guided by policy, it has got to be seen to have processed those. We have given our national officials that space. The Treasurer General did indicate that national officials wouldn't have met because the President is out in his capacity as the head of state to represent South Africa at the Dubai 2020 Expo. So when they come in, they will be able, because once processed, then the report would then have to serve within structures of the ANC. This is what would have happened in all other previous cases. Decisions of the ANC are not, we don't hear something on the radio and then get into a meeting that, no, we heard on radio, therefore. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You process things. The ANC has gotten to where it is with a 110-year feat because it has respected, embraced, and ensured that it acts in accordance with its own processes. So
yes, and surely,
process matter.
Mr. Mabe, surely this is just about internal consistency, because many have brought up the fact that Magashule, the suspended Secretary General, was never found guilty in court, but he was suspended and she has been found guilty in court. So you're saying there's a process, there will be a decision. How long could that take?
Well, I think one day we need to have a special workshop with members of the media to help them appreciate and understand processes of the
Well, why don't you help me understand and help our viewers understand right now?
But how am I going to help you when you come in while I'm still providing that clarity? You know, there were guidelines issued by a committee that was led by the Treasurer General. Those guidelines outlines conditionalities under which the step-aside rule will be executed. Now, when we act to implement our own decisions, we have got to act within a framework that we shall have established ourselves. You know, a self-respecting organization like the African National Congress must also be seen being loyal, one, to its own decisions, even to its own processes. Because if we do not do so, we'll be found wanting in terms of how we implement, operationalize, and execute our own decisions.
I'm not questioning the process at all. I was saying, how long could it take?
I understand exactly. No, you don't have to worry. It's a process matter. The process matter when officials have met, and once the ANC deems it fit to brief the public, it does so. There are a number of issues that the ANC process. If it doesn't deem it fit to go back to the public, the ANC would just quietly, in its own fashion, brief its structures. But if it matters we brief, they require us placing out to the public, we will convene a press briefing and then make announcements where such is befitting.
All right, Mr. Mabe, finally, the financial woes of the ANC are in the news today, with SARS reportedly demanding outstanding fees. Is that correct? And is the ANC in a position to pay its owed tax?
Well, it is quite dubious, divisive, a big fallacy that some have aggregated to themselves the responsibility to speak on behalf of the ANC and SARS when they are neither those institutions. This is big fake news doing rounds out there in the public. The ANC engages with SARS from time to time as the tax collector, and they're believing that kind of a relationship. So those that decide that they are going to speak on behalf of the ANC and SARS when they are neither of these institutions, and the media, because these are now running around on social media, in some unknown newspapers and all of that, decide to run with this as if it's news. It's news. It's quite worrying. I mean, there is no statement coming out of SARS confirming this fallacy that is placed out there.
All right, so no demand from SARS on the ANC. You can confirm that to us.
Well, you are also not sitting with a letter from SARS yourself. It is not my job. I mean, you guys, it is yourselves who have decided to do a story that you saw from social media and place it on national television and everywhere else.
No, Mr. Mabe, as spokesperson, I'm giving you an opportunity to clarify the story.
Yes, but you see, the challenge is that as and when we are doing this to the millions of your viewers, you come in, they miss the opportunity to understand us. We do not have a letter from SARS telling us that there is a demand that we must have performed in the next 10 days to have paid over 100 million. We don't have such a letter. The TGO of the African National Congress engaged through the office. So the TGO means Treasurer General's Office, because part of the things you must do is this basic education. They engage with SARS from time to time concerning its own tax affairs, and will continue to do such using our own formal channels of engagement. So those that have given themselves the role of speaking for the ANC are nothing else but agent provocateurs. Because they want to hawk headlines out of tainting and tarnishing the good name of the African National Congress. That is not going to dissuade us from doing our work. We have issued a more deliberate statement on the work that the ANC is going to be doing, even on renewal. People are trying to sidetrack our focus from that good work that we are doing. We must tell these detractors that we are not going to move our eyes on the ball.
All right, thank you very much.
And are going to lead our people like that.
All right, thank you very much for clarifying that. So saying it is fake news that SARS is demanding that very significant amount of money. That was ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe.